Hello everyone. It's me, the real Armchair Detective. I say that because I know it gets under his skin when people call themselves the Armchair Detective, but it is me, the real Armchair Detective. I might even change my channel name to that, just for the hell of it. Just because I'm a nice guy like that. So, we had a really bad ice storm Thursday. Went to work, they sent us home. So I spent an hour and a half. Hello, Don. Hello, everyone. An hour and a half getting probably 2 inches of ice off my windshield and car to drive to work in terrible conditions just to get sent home. Hello, Brooke. Hello, Casey. How is everyone doing? Casey, you've got blonde hair now, it looks like. Hello, Jeannie. Hope everyone's doing well. But, anyways, uh, back to the storm story. Now we're under another winter storm watch for Sunday night through Tuesday, where they're saying potential for more ice and several inches of snow. So it's been a real. I think what's happened is either Canada or one of our states up north, their weather has gotten drunk and staggered down here into Kentucky, and you guys need to come down here and take your weather home. We don't want it. Hello, Nicole R. How are you tonight? We had your friend on the other night, Nicole. Hello, Julie. How are you? How's everyone? Your hair looks good, Casey. I like it blonde. Looks really nice. I'll probably be, yeah, probably will. Dude, it's a negative 18. Feels like negative 36. Uh, Negative on that. No way. I could not live in a place like that, Angela. You can keep it. That's not for me. Doing good, Julie. Just kind of like I'm hibernating because of the weather. Yes, here's the way I look at it, Nicole. Um, I'm not going to keep it going, obviously, because I truly believe the woman has medical issues. I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. But it's been a year ago. I'm dropping it. If she wants to continue it, she's more than welcome to. She has freedoms in this country to do so, and I hope she don't, just for the sake of peace between everyone. But that's her choice, and that's all I'm going to say about it. So that's done. And you're very welcome, Casey. Angela says she's beginning to wonder why she lives there. Nicole, I'm not sure. I hope not, but you never know. You never know what someone's intent. And by the way, I'll probably buffer quite a bit tonight. I'm lucky I even have power. Like 75% of the people around this area don't even have power. And like I said at the first of the live stream, I'm the real armchair detective. Did anyone see that other guy, that other bloke's channel tonight? Now saying there's two cars that left the scene that night. He also said that he would he would accept his apology if he was willing to offer him one. Well, hello, JD. And Brooke says, Ice, Ice, Baby, Vanilla Ice. What a great song from the 90s. All I can remember the dance floor at the junior high school dance playing that. It was just those three words, Brooke, thank you. You got that right, Top Cop. He is. Lynn Logan, like, it's unbelievable. And by the way, if Danny Dalton, Danny spelled Dani, if you so happen to be watching this, you're welcome here. Terrible, terrible the way he treats his subscribers. He got he's doing a channel now called Hell, the Heaven and Hell Hotline or some shit. Um, he's got a spirit box now, so he's probably going to open up some big spirit from the other world, which would be completely hilarious, in my opinion. That would be great. But anyway, that fake armchair detective. Well, you go tell him. He knows it's true. Oh, I'm not sure, Nicole. He's got so much going on. Uh, that bloke, Brooke, he has a spirit. He does another. He has like four channels now, and one. And first of all, he acts like he travels there, and then he picks up a phone and acts like he contacts them through the phone. So my question is, why travel there if you're going to call them? Well, thank you, Top Top. I think you're speaking to me. Hello, juror number 4. And yes, Julie, AD has a spirit box on his Heaven and Hell Hotline channel. He talked to Natalie Wood earlier today, where Natalie told him that Robert, the actor that was with her that night, killed her. And then he also talked to Charlie Manson, as he called him today. Charlie. Brooke, we will be flat hilarious too. I just hope we get to witness it. But anyway, there was two cars that drove off there that night. Now, here's my question, guys. Okay, we seen from the doorbell camera on Chris and Shanann's house that when Nicole Atkinson dropped Shanann off that night when they got home from the airport, you could clearly see the area of the yard where the gravel spot is, correct? There's no vehicles parked there. Nate specifically said that his camera will pick up anything basically the other end of the street. Okay, so if there was one car, let alone two cars, when did these cars show up that night? Wouldn't they be on Nate's CCTV footage the next day when him and the cop was watching it at Nate's house? So I don't buy them being one or even two cars there because when did they show up? They wasn't there on the camera when Shanann was brought home. Nate's footage never showed two cars arriving that night. So there couldn't, in my opinion, be two cars. Yes, very true, Brooke. Well, I would not doubt it. Well, Lynn Love and Light, I don't see any other way how they would have gotten there if, Angela, and I can assure you he's not spoken to Chris Watts either. That's just anyone that believes that. I've got some oceanfront property in Kentucky I'd like to sell you. I've got it at a very good price, only $1 million an acre. Oceanfront property. Oh, who knows, Julie? Who knows what? Who knows what he's thinking half the time? The fake armchair detective. What kills me is, guys, he says opinions are welcome here. They're welcome here. And then the minute someone disagrees with his theory, with his opinion, oh, that's a troll. Everyone who doesn't see it their way, and it's becoming like a Jonestown over there because uh, you got all the spanners in the room. They say, "Oh, there's a troll." They'll point out a troll, and then we've got Nicky Bee, the new spanner. She just loves to zap those trolls, as she calls it. And if one person says one thing that just doesn't go along completely with the narrative of the channel, zap, Nikki gets them. And then she comes on and says, got that one. So they might say you can disagree, but you can't. Your opinion is not welcome there. It's proven with actions. If you don't believe me, go watch any live that he's done in the past 2.5 years. Oh, he'll probably seriously have him drinking some Kool-Aid before long, bro. No kidding. I'm not joking. Which, who knows? Maybe it's, kind of like things take care of themselves throughout history. Um, okay, Angela, we'll do it one night, maybe Monday night or something. If that's well, let me think. No, Monday night I'm going to watch. Oh, it was funny. We'll talk about it, Angela. I'll do it tomorrow, maybe. Um, but not Monday night because Monday night, AD's going to have Richard Swatton on. And it was so funny because today, when AD was doing his Heaven and Hell Hotline channel, where he was talking to Natalie Wood, Richard Swatton actually called him during his live, and AD put him on speakerphone. And I guess Richard Swatton had sent Joe the Cat some kind of like agreement between him and the channel of, I guess, of what they would talk about and stuff. They were originally going to talk about COVID-19. And now they're going to talk about astrological stuff, stars lining up, things like that. And I swear to God, Richard Swatton says, and AD, I don't want you to mention a thing about money. And AD just busts out laughing because he thought that was hilarious. But I think that Richard Swatton was dead serious when he said that. Do not mention anything about money. Lynn Levin Lights is right, Julie. Let's send him a Ouija board. That would be great. And people's asking Angela what case, and she says it's Devonte Richardson. He is a 28-year-old from D.C. whose vehicle was found abandoned east of Gray Bull, Wyoming. Kennedy's Grace has something I've said for the longest time. We've got Nicole Kessinger. She must be cloned 4 times over because she was in so many places that night. It's hard to say where she was really at. I'd say she was probably home. That's what he is saying, that he has high blood pressure. It's being treated with medication and diet. Although tonight, when he was playing a video, you could hear him snacking on something. He's such a great detective, he can't even turn the volume on when he's playing a video. Okay, so if you guys want to check out the story about Devonte Richardson, we can have Angela come on and about what she knows actually, her knowledge of the case. And Nicole R says over on Mince's channel, they say Frank was there that night. It's hard to say who all was there that night. There was so much help there. Oh yeah, and another thing, AD said tonight, it made me laugh. Now where he's saying that there is two cars that left there that night. He said, that when Betty left, Chris flashed his lights to let the plan know that it could roll into high gear. And he said, that car pulled out into three-way traffic at such a speed. He keeps talking about how fast this car pulled out into three-way traffic. It's not like this car pulled on the Los Angeles freeway. It was 5:15 in the morning in a subdivision neighborhood in a small Colorado town. There was no traffic. So it's not like he pulled out into this just it, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so ridiculous. There is so much, so many people involved in this case now. Um, I just decided I don't even know if I have an opinion on it anymore. I do know that AD and all his subs they, will tell him every night, feed this crap into his head that he's done more than the actual police did in Colorado, and you can see his eyes light up and a smile come across his face, and it's just unbelievable. And to the fact that he thinks he actually knows more than the police does. He probably doesn't have a quarter of even know what the discovery file says. And over the past 3 or 4 days, he's been reading the discovery files on his channel, so many pages a day. And what's funny is he'll come to a page that has a lot of writing. Well, you can just read that for yourself if you want to. He says he's reading it word for word, but he's not. And what happened to him being dyslexic? 134 pages of the discovery without any trouble whatsoever. But he always says that he can't read something or do something because he's dyslexic. So he lies so much. And he lies to the point where it's easily disproven or debunked, any way you want to look at it. Have any of you guys tried these new Coke energy drinks? They actually taste like actual Coke. So if you like Coca Cola, you will actually like that. And it's supposedly an energy drink. Very true, Nicole Moore. Very true. You need to try one. If you like Coke, Brooke, you'll like it. It's really good. They got cherry Coke too. Julia says there's not much out there about the Devonte case. Just one Found one YouTube video. Just everyone vanished like everyone else. And Brooke says she's a vanilla freak. Um, Pepsi released a Pepsi vanilla, and I thought it was so much better uh, than the Coke vanilla. No, this isn't the one that's got the coffee in them, but they've got them all right there together. They've got the regular Coke, the cherry Coke, and the coffee Coke. The coffee Coke just doesn't sound good to me, so I didn't try that. If you try it, let me know. I mean, I like coffee and I like Coke. I just don't. Somebody's asking, his last name's Richardson, Kennedy's Grace, from DC. It's cold here or not. And they say that we can actually have blizzard, and we just got over this one storm. So uh, I like snow. I usually like one snow, and then I'm done with it for the year. If anybody wants to come up, there it is. Yeah, look what you've done, Brooke. Thanks a lot. Not only have you done this to Tennessee, but you've messed Kentucky's weather up too. I mean, we have a snow here and there and some cold temperatures, but and this winter wasn't even that bad until like a couple weeks ago. It just went off the charts for us. I didn't know that would do that. If I shake this mouse on this iMac, it makes the cursor really large. Well, I seen somebody the other morning on Good Morning America. Actually, I seen this on YouTube. It was actually from a couple of years. Um, they had Anna Nicole Smith's daughter on Good Morning America, and this was from like 2 or 3 years ago. And she had a pet hamster or gerbil, or it might have even been a pet rat, but it was something. And she named it like Billy Bob Frank Jr. or something like that. And Robin Robertson, the lady that's on Good Morning America, she said, "Well, we live in Kentucky, right?" And I was like, damn, every time uh, they always got to say something about Kentucky. Sorry, I'm looking at something really quick. Yeah, we're right. Let me look. They might have changed it to a warning for us. It was just a watch earlier. In the Eastern Kentucky, it's just a winter weather advisory. Oh crap! First call, I just seen this. It's still a winter storm watch. But look here. I'm where the red is. 5 to 10 inches of snow. That's a lot of snow for us. 5 to 10 inches. Shit. I'm scared. Hello.
Hello. How is everyone tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. So, I have the craziest case for y'all.
All right.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm having Okay. Devonte Richardson,
Okay.
28 years old. I'm having feedback and I'm not sure what I did wrong.
You sound fine to me.
Okay. Came Okay. Left home on 7/22, July 22nd. Told his family he was going to check on his buddy Kanye.
Is it Kanye West? Okay.
Kanye owns property here in the Bighorn Basin where I live. He bought the ranch over to Cody, but he also bought another ranch over by Shell. "30-hour drive." He made it to Wyoming, made it roughly out here, and then walked away from his Jeep, left 2 cell phones and a laptop in his Jeep, and walked off into the hills and has never been seen again.
Something's not right there. Are they sure he walked off, or are they? How do they know somebody didn't walk him off like at gunpoint or something?
Because they've had a canine dog out there, and they can say that he was not and is not within the 6-mile radius.
Okay. Lynn Love and Light, was there gas in the Jeep? Did he run out?
Yes.
So he had gas. And Charlie Hunt says he does recall this.
I did a podcast with another podcaster earlier this week. I did it Sunday afternoon. A private investigator, James Michael Terry, got me in connection with Mel, and he did this. I am just working my way through all of my podcast contacts so that we can bring awareness to this, because this kid's been missing since July. And if it was a case of mental health issues, that's still somebody that deserves to be found.
Yeah.
Just because he's, like, it's a 30-hour drive. The kid thought he was friends with Kanye.
Right.
Where did he go?
Does Kanye really know him, or did he come out and say did he know him, or?
He denied, but the whole way out here to Wyoming, Devonte was live tweeting to Kanye and his people.
Yeah, there's something definitely odd about this. And
there are like the only news articles are the original one that I heard about, the 27th of July. when the vehicle was reported out on the haul road, I was able to find the person who actually found the vehicle and talk to them about what they saw. There were no footprints leading away from the vehicle. There were no, like, the keys were in it. It was not out of gas, 2 cell phones and a laptop. And the DC detective wants us to believe that he succumbed to the elements. Well, if he succumbed to the elements out there in a high plains desert, um, his body should have been found when the canine went out and did a 6-mile radius.
Well, is it possible animals could have ate him though?
That quick, you would have found something
Well,
if he
see,
were
I
dead.
don't know. I'm not familiar with. See,
Right.
it's a serious
Um,
question because I'm not familiar with it, and I have heard things like
can
that
we
happen.
screen share? How do I screen share? I'll show you the map. Here we go. Screen share. So yep, it's okay. I don't care. I'm not got anything bad to show you. So if we go to, I'm getting my OneNote pulled up.
Okay.
Um, can you see my screen or no? Let me see. Share. Okay. So can you see this on the screen? This is the map. Oh. Can you see is my screen sharing or no?
No, I'm not seeing it at all.
Okay. So let me let's see if I can copy this and put this into our chat right here. Because, like, I have mapped the location. No, it won't. Okay.
Okay,
So
here it is. There it is.
oh, okay. Awesome. So check this map out.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So point A is where he started.
Okay.
Point B is West Lake Ranch in Cody. 29 hours and 43 minutes that this guy drove. This is the terrain where the Jeep was found. This is an actual picture of the Jeep on the Hall Road. Oh,
Okay.
crap, it went away. There we go. Like, that's, do you see, like, there's nothing. There's not even trees out there.
Yeah, I see that.
Back here where my cursor's at,
Uh-huh.
this is the Bighorn Mountains. I mean, this is all bentonite, clay bentonite hills. So we scroll down and then here is the Jeep was actually found. The red dot was for me to figure out where I was at geographically, but it's actually right in here that the Jeep was found out on a Crystal Creek Hall Road. So then
So is that close to where Kanye's ranch is? Where that's at?
8 miles to the east. So if we were to go back to where this Jeep is,
Mhm. Yeah.
then this back over here where the mountains are in the photograph are where, here, let me get it. I am attempting and I'm being super poor at it. So back where the mountains are, back in here is what starts where Mr. West's ranch is. You can look at, if you're in Google Maps, you can type in the Hideout Ranch,
Uh-huh.
and that's the second property that Kanye has purchased.
Okay.
And of course, he's denied it all the way through.
Well,
So, I mean, and there's just nothing out there. Um, it took me 9 months to hear back from the detective in DC. And when I heard back from her, she told me that it's a kid that was manic that thought a celebrity was his friend and drove across the country and succumbed to the desert elements. But I don't know. It doesn't, that's enough. Doesn't seem like it to
oh,
me.
so he did have a history of mental illness then, right?
That's what the police officer's saying. Family doesn't exactly agree.
Yeah, that's definitely odd. And there's been no updates, nothing.
The the most recent update was a story that I worked really hard with the um, local newspaper editor to get put in our newspaper. But it was over 6 months before that, since the Jeep had been found to where it had been. And even DC says it's just gone cold.
Well, I'm not saying anything when I say this, but people with a lot of money can make a lot of things happen, stories not get told, things like that.
Kind of funny. Suddenly everything is really hush hush, and so I've dug into it a bit. There's some things like I'm working to try to get my town together to do a candlelight vigil so that his family knows that we care. We're considered 9 county. Bighorn is the 9th county in Wyoming. So we have a walking path that goes from end to end in our town. And I would like to see our residents come out and light the path up for 9 minutes for Devonte. That's something that I'm really working hard towards. I've got some community support coming behind me to get something going. That way, the community, all you need to do is bring your cell phone or a flashlight, walk down onto the path.
The mom, she has a good point here. 29 hours, you would think he had enough mental capability to get the other 1 hour.
Thank you, dropping the mic, Mom. That is exactly it. They said that his cell phone took him out onto this GPS navigated him out onto the haul roads. And he lost cell signal. Well, if you lost cell signal, why would you leave 2 cell phones in a vehicle? Wouldn't you grab your cell phone to try to walk back a couple of miles?
Was one of the two his actual primary cell phone? One of the two?
Both were. One was prepaid, one wasn't.
Okay.
He had been an Uber driver before COVID hit. So he had his personal phone and then he had a work phone.
Or a burner phone.
Yeah. And one would think that if he had the mental capacity to drive 29 hours, like why would he suddenly decide to make a poor choice and get out from his Jeep and yes, I can agree to succumbing to the elements because we are a high plains desert. But then does that mean the cadaver, the canine that was brought in from another county, did they really do 6 miles? Or is it that it wasn't the right type of dog? And now, I mean, look at the state of the world. DC currently has armed people on its streets. They have armed soldiers in the streets in DC.
Well, she's saying what I was thinking. If one of those phones is a burner phone, what if he was running favors for Kanye?
He didn't know Kanye. He was just breaking into the music world. When you look at him, he's CEO of Big Blue Studios. He's got a Facebook profile, and everything that's on it, like he was an artist, a tattoo artist, a music artist. He had ordered before he left. He had ordered a lot of music making equipment.
Yeah. There's something just not right about this, though.
I'm telling you, Braun, I don't just bring you, I wouldn't bring you something that didn't have some intrigue to it. Unfortunately, none of my cases are boring. They're all.
What happened to the one guy we talked about last? Did they ever find him? Never found him?
No, sir. Nothing has ever been found. And I have two more that are just the same, but they come out of Montana. One that's 2 years old and completely cold, Brandon Fitch, and then Jacob Loomis, who is just a little over a year and completely cold as well. Jacob Jacob went out hunting. Jacob had low vision. He had a genetic defect and he had low vision. And he went out hunting with two people and never returned. Bird hunting and never returned. I don't know many people that are low vision enough that they really can struggle to drive a car that would be able to do bird hunting. As a female hunter, I'm speaking.
Right.
And then Brandon Fitch, he's from Reed Point, Montana. And after a party, he went into the Yellowstone River. There were 4 phone calls made before a 911 phone call was made. Mom has spent 2 years walking up and down the banks of the Yellowstone River and hasn't found her son.
Oh, that's sad when mothers do that. You know, mothers and fathers, when they have to do stuff like that, it's just terrible.
Couldn't imagine. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I've lost a sibling that was the next best thing to a child. So, but yeah, like I said, Braun, I won't waste your time with just a funny little missing
Well, no,
whatever.
you're not wasting my time anyway. I mean, it's not like we were doing anything else. We were just.
This one is just, I mean, and there's so little on this case because there's just nothing. I would be more than happy to once just like I've told Mel, as soon as the snow is gone and it's dry enough, I will drive out there and I will video it and show you exactly how remote, show you how close it is and like how desolate it is. But right now we're in like 18 inches of snow and 36 below. So I couldn't get, it took me 3 hours to get 7 miles away today because it was like dig out forever to get out.
He went missing in July, so snow wouldn't even have been an issue then. So
not then. I've got a drone operator that's going to fly it. But I mean, he essentially could be missing anywhere. That vehicle could have been dumped out there. Maybe he made it to the Cody property. He was a fan. He was coming to meet Kanye, and I'm somebody that's been determined like that before to meet a celebrity. Poor Kenny Chesney. But so does anybody, I can't see chat. I closed the other window. So does anybody have anything?
Mesa, if you want to look at a cold case, please look at Ayla Reynolds in Maine. I'm interested now with the Kanye thing.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and I will look you up and I will look that up. I'll put it on my little, I got to have pen and paper, it'll get transferred into my OneNote and I'll build all my files, but I got to start off with pen and paper. I got to be able to touch it and look at it. Ayla Reynolds from Maine. What year does that from?
Mike dropping mom. She's wanting to know what year that's from. If you can, well, I'm sure she hears me, but I just couldn't imagine being walking the banks of a river looking for your child. How heartbreaking.
They bought a boat. These parents were so dedicated. They bought a boat so that they could go up and down the river every day to try to find their son or find anything about him.
2011 is when the Ayla Reynolds happened in Maine, 2011.
Oh, I just, and the more you start digging on these, the worse it gets. And it seems like there's just more and more and more. The one thing I have done since the last time we talked was I got my NACP. So I became a certified advocate. It's about a 73-hour course. It's self-paced. You can Google OVAT, Office of Victim Assistance, OVAT, and then you can get in. You can take that same course that I did and become a nationally certified victims advocate. Oh, wow. And I really think that that's something that more people in this crime world, if they did, it would be something that you can start helping out others. And then I got one more thing to plug. I have been helping a Bill Dosey, my drone guy. He's been brought in on, it's called the DI app, DEEYE, and it's a freestanding missing persons app. It would be like Facebook or Snapchat, but it's for missing persons cases. So there is a YouTube on it. They've got a YouTube page and it talks about what it does. I mean, you don't have to have they're building it so that you don't have to have a police report. It'll be a temporary thing, but once you've got your police report in there, then it's essentially like social media for missing people. I think it's going to be groundbreaking, and because there's a lot of cases that time is of the essence. And what this app will do is say you're in Kentucky and the missing person goes missing, and they go missing in Kentucky, then this will alert every app subscriber in your area. And it has age progression. It's got artificial intelligence in it. So if you have a child that went missing in 2010 or 11 years later, it's got the software so that it can help age progress, as well as make the missing flyers. All you're doing is, as you're entering stuff in on the screens, as you're entering your information in on the screens, it's going to start to build the flyer for you that you can get printed and distribute through your community. So anybody that's kind of interested, it's the DI app, DEEYE. Check it out. I think that I think it could really make a big difference.
Well, and I think we're buffering because we've had a bad ice storm here.
Oh, shoot.
I'm lucky to even have power, and
That's okay.
I think I keep buffering. So
That's okay. I'll go ahead and hop off and go back into chat, but thank you again for your time. You know, people like you are the reason that people like me got into this stuff. Thanks again, Bron.
as she took off, what I was saying was, anytime she wants to come back on and share information, she seems like she really knows what she's talking about. So, Angela Lassiter, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate that. There's a lot of information tonight, and thank you so much. She said, "Bye, you were frozen." Yeah, I'm buffering because we've had a just okay. She says she's here. I just wanted to say thank you for coming on. It's just like my subs; they like hearing this stuff just like I do. So if I'm on, somebody says the Brian McKenzie case out of Kentucky is crazy. People need to come forward at that case. It's a terrible case. We've got a lot. Um, in the town I used to live in, we had several blonde haired, blue eyed women that went missing. And they thought for sure it was all something linked together. And there's still most of them, actually, all of them aren't solved. So just, and then of course we have Bardstown, Kentucky, where the police officer was shot and killed. Crystal Rogers went missing. And then her dad, who was investigating the case, he, and what they first said was a hunting accident, which the public did not settle for that, and they had to come out and say, um, this is no. And then they found out where they had actually placed the rifle. They had actually cut out a section of the woods where they would have a perfect shot at him. And it was a kill shot directly to the chest. So we had a lot going on in Bardstown. Nothing's really happened there since like 2015. But from 2013 to 2015, there was four separate. Well, two of them were the same. It was a mother and her daughter. Um, so Brian McKenzie out of Tennessee. Yeah, Bardstown is. I think, my personal opinion, I think that law enforcement knows exactly what's happened in Bardstown. Uh, just with the simple fact, no, not the simple fact, but the fact that a police officer was killed there, they want to make sure it's an airtight case, and they don't want to screw it up in any way. That's what my opinion on that is. And then actually over last summer, the FBI actually took over the investigation in Bardstown, and they thought they'd actually found Crystal Rogers' body. I mean, everybody was waiting for the confirmation to come out, and then when they finally come out, they said it wasn't her remains. So, but her boyfriend was I can't think of his name, something Houck. Nick Houck was his brother. Brooks Houck. That was her boyfriend, and his brother was a cop, Nick, and they actually ended up firing him over this case because he was hampering the investigation. When the chief told him, he said, "You're a police officer. You're supposed to help the investigation, not hamper it." So he was hampering the investigation, and the chief came out and he said it made my day to look at that officer and say, "You're fired," because he was not police officer material. So, but that's what I think with the FBI taking over it. I think they just want to make sure. And not the saddest, but a very tragic part of the Bardstown story is the teacher and her daughter that was murdered. The girl was 16 years old. This happened on a weekend, and the girl was extremely ecstatic about going to prom. They had actually went and got her prom dress that day that they were murdered, and she was actually buried in her prom dress, which is heartbreaking. Well, anybody else want to come on talk about anything? So Angela, which her name is is for advocacy in the chat. She's gave everybody her email address, and she also has a Facebook page and a profile under A is for advocacy. If anybody would like to get a hold of her about any cases they'd like for her to look into or anything like that, she's real knowledgeable. And Mike dropping mom, I only will say this to you. Be very careful, because if other people see you on my channel, they will say you're on a hate channel and you will get a lot of flack for it. There's been other people receive the same kind of treatment because of that. So just to let you know, I don't mind. Everybody's welcome here. But just so you know that I don't want you to have any static or rough feedback for being over here. So just FYI. And I'll edit that part of the video out before it goes up. And A is for advocacy says, if she does not know the info, she can find it out. Braun, do you believe that Bardstown is corrupted at the um, highest level? I believe it at the time it was. They've had a lot of change down there as far as the police chief and many of the officers. As far as like city council and mayors, I don't know if they've had any changes there or not, but I do know they've pretty much flipped the entire police force. Well, I'm just, please don't take it the wrong way. It might drop my mind. Like I said, you're more than welcome here. Everybody's more than welcome here. I just don't want to see you have any heartache over it. So that's all I'm saying. I'm sure you know what I mean. So that's all I'm saying. Sorry. But you're absolutely more than welcome here anytime. Charlie Hunt says this is the anniversary of Libby and Abby's death, 4th year anniversary. Wow, it doesn't seem like that's even possible. Who, if I would have told you guys that there was 2 girls that were found dead, teenagers, and they had a video of the guy and they had a voice recording of the guy's voice and the case was still not solved, would you believe me? No. How's that possible? That's a small town. How does somebody not know who that guy is? What is it, Angela? You said ugh. Oh, okay. You know, I read somewhere or heard somewhere that when a police officer is murdered, that it is solved within 24 hours, 97% of the time. Jason Ellis was a police officer in Bardstown, was killed in 2013, still not solved. Almost, and it happened in May, almost 8 years later. I had a police officer tell me one time, most crimes get solved because people don't know how to keep their mouth shut. They can do everything to get away with it, but it's almost like they have to brag to somebody about it or tell somebody, talk to somebody about it, what they've done, what they've been a part of. So if you're ever going to commit a crime, just remember that. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't listen to that advice from me. And Brooks said the weather had started there and said she'd be right back. So I wonder what's going on if it's the winter storm has started there. I know they're predicting blizzard conditions here, which I don't even know if we've ever had a blizzard here. Y'all look at KW's meltdown last July. Maybe it was murder, not adultery. It's hard to say, but definitely, Angela, that was a very interesting case. Thank you for bringing that on to us. Just like Mike dropping mom said, how do you make it 39 hours of the trip or 29 hours of the trip and in the 30th hour is when you go manic or whatever. And Nicole Lawrence says, how many people Google stuff before they commit the crime? Yes, and not only that, you know the police is going to look at your computer And you think you delete stuff, you never delete anything. And yes, Katie too. I am in Kentucky. Too many dumb criminals. Very true. Well, it's almost like it's kind of like this. You can plan for everything, but there's always going to be something you forget. And it might be something, and look at it like this. Back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we've got so many people getting out of prison because DNA has, um, showed that they didn't commit the crime. How many people back then would have even thought anything about DNA? They probably didn't even know what those three letters meant together. Well, they didn't. So here in 2021, what kind of technology are we going to have in 2040, 2050 that we don't even know about today that will change so many cases that are going certain ways today? I can't even in my normal mind drive 29 hours driving. It's very true. I don't like driving 15 minutes. I mean, and even look at it like this. Let's say you're going to Google something and you go to the library. Well, you have to log in on the computer that you're using. So if you do a Google search on a computer at the library, they're going to say, well, here's who was doing that Google search at between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. when they had the computer checked out. There's just so many damn ways they can catch you in this day and time, but yet we have so many people that gets away with things. Money has a lot to do with a lot of it, guys. Sandy, my health's actually been really well since the last time I got sick. I was in the hospital in early December, and knock on wood, because also the last few times it came on me really quick. Um, but now they did give me I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. They gave me a pneumonia vaccine the last time I was in the hospital, and I mean, look how stupid I am. I'm sitting here smoking cigarettes after having pneumonia 3 times. I mean, how dumb is that? But yet, I'm sitting here doing it. It just doesn't make any sense. But thanks for asking, Sandy Blue. I appreciate you asking that. Hello, CMI. But anyway, my question there was 2 girls go missing. They've got a video of the guy, they've got an audio recording of the guy's voice, and he's not caught. That just. Well, as for advocacy, I've had a lot of habits in my days, and smoking is the only habit I've not been able to kick down the hill. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Brooke, is I'll probably have to go to work in the storm, and they have a cafeteria at my work that serves hot food. So even if we get like stranded at work, we won't starve there. They've got vending machines all over that place, and they have more than one um, hot food cafeterias. I get pneumonia all the time. I swear pineapple juice daily, and being religious about sanitizing my grocery carts. Knock on wood, haven't had it in 3 years. Got it 4 times in 4 years. Well, Mike dropping. I had pneumonia once before this. I had pneumonia one time in 2017 when I had my tonsils taken out. That's the first time I'd ever had pneumonia. Last September, 1 week after my birthday, I got where I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't even get up into the bathroom and be able to breathe. Went to the hospital, was admitted. It was double pneumonia. They put me on antibiotics, steroids. I was in the hospital for a week. They let me out. Everything was fine. Um, a month later, I was back in the hospital. Same thing. Uh, then in early December, back in the hospital, same thing, pneumonia. They finally came out and said they don't know if I caught it 3 times or if it was just one really strong case that the antibiotics weren't completely kicking out of my system and it was just coming back on me. They really didn't know. But anyways, before I left the hospital the last time, they gave me the pneumococcal um, vaccine, pneumonia vaccine. And like I said, knock on wood, that was early December. It's almost March. And, well, as for Advocacy, she said, are you sure it was not COVID? Here's what they told me, They told me, they said, we know you have COVID. They said, your blood work shows it, your lab work shows it, your lungs look like it. They said the only thing that says you don't have COVID is your COVID test. They tested me in the 3 times I was in the hospital for COVID 9 times. So 9 times I was tested for COVID. One of the things I thought of was, what if I had one of those COVID strains back then before they even knew the COVID strain was a thing? Would they have known then that I had the COVID strain? So, according to them and my COVID tests, I didn't have COVID 19. Now, Brooks Channel, I'm only about 5 minutes from my work. And the COVID test they were giving me was one where they stuck the thing up to my brain. Now, at my work, they test us weekly for COVID. Every Wednesday, we have a COVID test. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but how they do our test, they don't stick nothing up our nose. They give us a little vial, and between 1 and 1.5 milliliters, I guess that's what the ml is. And they mark it with a black mark. We have to set, and it's got a little funnel on top of this thing. We have to spit in this little funnel. And then once we get it between 1 and 1.5 milliliters, we put the cap on and we stick it down in this little bag and we turn it in. Well, I've tested negative 3 weeks in a row. Well, here's the thing, AS for Advocacy. I take that back. They didn't say my blood work showed it. They said my lab work showed it. They said everything about my lab work pointed to COVID-19. But they said actually testing me for COVID-19, I was negative. Now, I was never officially diagnosed with COVID-19. However, I was in the COVID unit. Sandy Blue says, yeah, I remember the pneumonia 3 times. I smoked for years, really heavy, but got pneumonia twice after stopping. What helped me stop for good was Chantix, and it was so easy. I forgot I was a smoker. They say that Chantix works really good. I used Chantix one time. People say it makes you have really bad nightmares. I didn't have really bad nightmares. I had vivid dreams, like they were so realistic. So it wasn't really nightmares. It was, I think she meant Chantix, Diane. And Caslin, you're in Bardstown? Really? That's wild. I didn't know that. So, have you heard anything about the cases in Bardstown, Cass? And Lynn says she stopped smoking by vaping. That's what my son keeps telling me, that I should go to vaping and quit smoking. But it's almost like it's one habit to the other. So I don't know. And guess there's nothing new happening. So hmm. Anybody else want to come on? Come up and help me talk. If I don't have anything to talk about, I have to go because I can't just keep rambling on like some people do. We've already been on an hour. And I tell you what, time goes really fast doing these lives. You know, one thing that worries me about the vaping is, you know, we've had years and years and years and years to study the effects of smoking and things like that, and but we haven't had, you know, years to study vaping. So that's what one thing that you know scares me about vaping. Well, hey, Brooke, you didn't. I said I ramble. You didn't ramble. You talked about a lot of good information. And you, I was thinking when you was on here, you could be a really good news anchor because you tied everything together really well. Uh, Also, Angela, she does that. Her the way she talked, everything was. I just can't talk really good like you guys can. I can't tie things together like you guys do. You all can go from one thing to the next, and it sound seamless, like it was wrote that way. Well, come on up, Brooke, and ramble some more. Yeah, Mike, I agree. You just have to really want to quit. I believe, and here's the thing. The last time I was in the hospital in early December, I had quit probably 3 or 4 weeks. I had quit smoking. I hadn't even took a puff off of a cigarette, and we shut down at my job for Christmas a whole week, and I was off for that week, and I was sitting around, didn't have anything to do, and I was bored, and I wanted a cigarette so bad I couldn't stand it, and I smoked, and you know what? It tasted nasty. It was terrible. It was the worst thing um, I'd ever tasted in my life. And you know what? I smoked a second one, and then you know what? I smoked a third one. So it's just really a stupid thing to do. But like I said, I'm fairly a boring person. So smoking's about and YouTube besides work's about the only things I do. So that tells you anything. Brooke, they want to hear you. Come back, come on up. And smoking weed is healthier than that, Kennedy's Grace, says Mike. I'll tell you what, I tried smoking weed and it made me so damn paranoid. I heard a fire truck coming in. You know how a fire truck sounds different than a police car. I heard a fire truck coming and I thought that the police was coming to get me. That's how paranoid I was. Juror number 4 here in Kentucky, which Kentucky is considered a tobacco state, so they're cheaper here than they are anywhere else. For a pack of Marlboros, it's like $6.37, something like that. They're chanting for you, Brooke, 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 Brooke. They're wanting you to come on. So you made quite an audience here the other night. I'll have to change it to the Braun and Brooke channel. Wyoming, my cigarettes, Pall Mall Black, $106.11. How much are they where you're at there, juror number 4? Cigs are $6 to $9 in Maryland upstate, like $15 to $18 a pack. Jesus Christ. Man, I can remember when cigarettes though were 99 cents a pack. That's about the cheapest I remember them. And I always said, if they ever get $3 a pack, I'll quit. Well, now here they are twice as high as that, and I'm still smoking. So I think that just goes to tell you people just talk a lot. Your Air Force is nearly $14 in the UK. Now, do you all have brands like we have during our 4? Do y'all have Marlboros and things like that? Hello, Wayne. How are you tonight? Yeah, I know, $18 a pack. That's almost like $1 a cigarette. But do you know, like, I was in jail one time in my life. It was in 2010, and then this was in 2010. If you wanted a cigarette in jail, it was like $3 a cigarette, and that was a rolled cigarette that was trash. William says he smokes Marlboro, or she smokes Marlboro Reds 580 a pack. I smoke Marlboro Ultralights, and they're I think 617 something like that a pack. Wayne says when they went to Mexico, they were $10 a carton. They bought like 15 cartons. Wow. Did you have to hide them coming across the border because of the Texas thing? Uh, I'm probably about a little over an hour from Bardstown, Cass. You know where Lexington is? I'm just about 20 minutes from Lexington. Uh, Cass, Wayne, she's also from Kentucky, also Eastern Kentucky. If she was to tell you the town, I'll let her. But Eastern Kentucky. I went to college at UK, says Cass. Well, I'm only about 20 minutes from UK. We lived in Lexington when my husband was at UK. Now we live about 3 hours from Lexington, says Wayne. Lexington is where the video of ice was from that I watched last night. There was a lot of ice. The ice was so thick on my windshield Thursday morning. I have to clock in and start working at 6 a.m. I usually start my car with the remote start around 5:15. I usually leave around 5:30. That morning, I started my car at 4 o'clock just because I knew, the defrost I thought would melt the ice. When I went out about 5:15, because I knew I was going to go out a little bit early, uh, the ice was still probably 2 inches thick on my windshield. You could see it melting. I'll tell you a funny story. Is the same day I was at the store, and there was ice on both my back and front passenger windows. And I could roll down both of those windows, and the ice would still be there, like 2 inches thick. And it was so funny. I was at the gas station. I rolled down the passenger window, and I just took my fist and I punched that ice out, and the ice just shattered like a big sheet of glass. Well, this woman that was here at the gas station, she's like, "What'd you break that window of that car for?" And after I left and got to thinking of all the stories I could have done, to this lady, like, why, just all kinds of stuff. But I didn't. But she thought I broke the window out of my own car. But yeah, Wayne, I agree with that. A remote start is a lifesaver, and it will definitely spoil you. Yeah, Brooke, and I'll tell you what I done. My scraper actually broke. That's how thick the ice was. I couldn't get it to scrape. So what I actually done was is I got one of those little ice pails and I put warm water, not hot water, because hot water would shatter your windshield. But I put warm water in this little bucket and I just poured it on my windshield and it melted a hole about this big where I could see out of. And I put my gloves on and I just got underneath that ice and I was pulling big sheets off about this big, just throwing it on the ground. And I finally got enough off the windows where I could finally get to work. And I get to work, and like I said, we have to be clocked in at working at 6 o'clock. We had like 2,400 people call in off of day shift that day. I work at a big company, uh, but around 9:30 they sent everybody home, and I was sitting there thinking, well, damn, I wouldn't have got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and worked on ice for an hour and a half for them just to send us home after 3 hours if I knew they was going to do that. And A is for Advocacy said just get a Ziploc and fill it with warm water and set it on the window. Well, I'll tell you what I've actually done now. Um, I went to Lowe's and bought one of those just empty clear spray bottles that you could use for window cleaner or anything. And I bought a uh, jug of that de-icer that you put in your window washer fluid. And I actually poured it in the spray bottle. So if we get this big ice storm coming in Monday that we're supposed to get, I'll just take that spray bottle, just spray it all over that ice. I mean, it melts it. I've tried it out because there's still ice everywhere here. And I was just trying to see if my idea would work, and it works like a charm. So I won't have any issues with ice come Tuesday morning if we get this big storm they're talking about. Yeah, Wayne, I'm 44 years old now. I never had a brand new car in my life until I was 42 years old. Yeah, same thing. You on my truck, you could program everything on it. How long the remote start runs, if the daytime running lights are on, um, do the fog lights come on with the parking lights or with the headlights? It's just crazy what all you can program. All right, guys. Well, if nobody wants to come up and chat with me, I'm going to get off for the night. But thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Angela, for coming on. I think you still know my email. If you don't, it's bronmoxley@gmail.com. Just if you have any updates on the Kanye case or you want to tell us about another case, we'd love to have you on. It's very interesting, both cases you brought to us. We've really enjoyed listening to you. Like I said, you talk really well and everything like that. So, but anyway, guys, thank you for joining me, and I'll try to get on tomorrow night. I guess that's my daughter calling. I'll call her back when I'm done with the live. Um, so anyway, guys, if the weather's not real bad and I've got power and I've got internet, I'll try to come on tomorrow night. And well, if I come back tomorrow, Brooke, are you going to come on live with me? Because I can't ramble. And I'm not saying you do, but I just can't ramble for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'll come back tomorrow if I have power, if you come on. But you can just answer me tomorrow. Good night, guys. Y'all have a good night.